Good morning, YouTube. I know I haven't posted since I don't know what it was, like pretty much since the goat video, or not goat videos. I think I did maybe a garden, whatever. Either way, it's been a while. I've forgotten my last video I posted. So what I'm going to do is I'll kind of walk you around a little bit of the stuff we've got going out here. In fact, there we go. The chickens are full grown. We've thinned the flock. We went from 10 unknowns to 6 roosters and 4 hens, and now we are down to 4 hens and 1 rooster. The tomatoes that we've got are going absolutely amazing. It did get hot, and I was only watering them once a day instead of twice a day. And here's the potatoes. Come on, Leonard. Oh, yeah. And a turkey. I'm going to get Leonard out of here.
Well, I'm trying to catch him.
Okay.
Check with the goats.
All right. Turkeys are dumb. Without a doubt, turkeys are the dumbest animals I've ever dealt with. So the garden's going well. And so far, the goats have been going wonderful. There was a bit of a miscommunication when I was like, yeah, hey, let's get goats. And my thought was to fence off that big wooded area back there. And I was going to get some big goats. And I was going to get, well, not big goats. I was going to get young ones, and they were just going to be meat goats. I was going to let them feed off that, supplement them with some nutrients and, some pellets or something. And then they were going to become our winter meat. Well, there was just a little bit of a miscommunication, and we now have 2 Nigerian dwarf dairy goats. But the main reason I'm here today filming this video is this thing. So we had no infrastructure for goats at all. So what we went and did was we went to Spinard Builder Supply, which for a lot of you that may be used to things like Home Depot or Lowe's, Spinard Builder Supply is a lot more commercial than something like Lowe's or Home Depot. They deal with professional customers a lot more. So one of the things they have is they have these pre-built 8x10 greenhouses, right? And they're all pre-cut. They come with, oh man, I got to keep you guys out of the sun. They come with instructions, and they come with all of the hardware, which is cool, and it works well if everything's cut. It works well. So most of this stuff is cut for us. Well, I should say everything is cut. Some things just aren't cut as clean as it should be, and I will show you in a minute. So what do you get? So if you guys see the foundation here, which is the foundation is on these 4x6 pressure treats, that didn't come with it, but all of this came with it. Now, my buddy Aaron came over and helped me with, because he's got a pneumatic framing nailer and a pneumatic siding nailer. So he actually took care of most of this. But over here, you've got some of the siding nails and the framing nails here. So those are taken care of. And then we've got all the screws here, which is what we would be using for doing all of the roofing, rafters, and all that, which is Lexan, or not Lexan, PVC panels. We opted to go with the PVC instead of the Lexan. Part of the issue, though, is the trusses aren't cut. Yes? You need me? You're cold? She's cold, Mom. She's cold and she needs a hug. She's standing in the sun, but she wants a jacket. I don't know. Makes no sense to me, but to a 3-year-old makes total sense. So here's what you get, right? So here's the brochure, the sales brochure for it, and then you actually get a fairly decent set of instructions that if you have any basic knowledge of, you know, you get both instructions, that if you have any basic knowledge of how to do it, it'll coach you through it. And it did. It coached us right through it. Full disclosure, if you see here on the front door where it says siding extends 15/16, yeah, we screwed that one up. So we got it here on the back where this siding does extend 3 and 15/16. So now we got just this little hole here to be able to get. Did the same thing on this side. So, and that goes over well, and we'll just trim that off. But here, we forgot. We measured, you know, from the door over to the edge of the frame and forgot that. So, again, in full disclosure, we did make, you know, a few mistakes on this, and then we had to go back and fix a couple of others. But the two big things. One, I'm going to take you back so you can see this glorious Alaska sunlight, because glorious Alaska sunlight reveals a lot of things that are messed up. Look at that. And that is with the rafters. Now, we may need to move this in just a little bit, but you realize it when you move that in, right? So now that's parallel to that. The angle is off even further. Come on, you know, anybody with basic knowledge of tools and a basic safety knowledge, they can cut these dimensions here for the framing pieces, the panel, that's a pretty straight cut. You know, most people who can have access to YouTube or have never even done it but do have access to YouTube, they can go by a 4-foot level, figure out their 1.5 inches or whatever it is for their saw, set that fence down and cut a straight line on sheet goods. They can do it on 2x4s. They can do it on 4x4s. But something like cutting, 22.5 degrees and then matching up 2 at 22.5 and then cutting another 22.5, or I think that's what it is. That's where the problem comes in. And that's why I paid $900 for a pre-built greenhouse, for a pre-cut. I don't expect, when I do that, to have these problems. I mean, look at that. You know? That's unacceptable when you're paying for somebody to professionally do these jobs. And just, here, let me put you guys over here for this one. Just so you guys are tracking. Yes, if any of you were going to say anything, or, maybe you work for the company or something, but when I come out here, I'm at the edge of this is it's like 153 and somewhere between 153 even and 153 and a 16th. I'm not even gonna really try to guess what that is, but obviously you could say it's 1/32. Well, yeah, that'd be the easy answer, and that might be so, because we squared all the panels individually, and then we squared them all individually, and then we stood them up, leveled, plumbed, and then squared everything before we started assembling. And the problem now is that these rafters, as you saw in the beginning of the video, just aren't working. Now we gotta get that there. And this one is, let me get this out of the way. Yep, looks like, guys, it looks like we're a little off. 152 and 15/16. So we're less than an 1/8 of an inch off over an 8x10 at 152, 153 inches, on the diagonal. A squared, B squared, C squared. That means it's not us. That means we didn't screw up anything here bad enough for that to be there. And so I'm going to go down to SBS and talk to them and see what they say. And to be honest, even if all I get is some shims to get it like lined up right, and then I can actually sink stuff in if I, get some pieces in there, I'll go for it. I don't expect them to be too bad. They're generally pretty good from what I've heard. And the couple of times I've dealt with them, they've been great. So I expect to at least have them go, oh, roger that. We see the error in the ways, and go from there. So basically two things: the rafters that are not cut precise as they need to be when you're paying for a pre-cut piece. And the second one is no screws with washers. So now I'm going to get water inside if I don't go buy screws with washers. So for everybody who's watching this and stood out for the almost 11 minutes of me rambling and talking through the problem so far, thank you very much. And to be honest, this is not a dog on them video. So far, it's just a what I found. And I think will be good. After all, it is Spinard Builder Supply. They've been in Alaska forever. And all the old Alaska, the old Alaska men and the Alaska chicks, they love SBS because SBS does take care of their customers. They'll ship stuff out to the bush and all that good stuff. I'm going to go see what they got, and we'll get this video posted, and I'll hopefully give you a good follow-up later. Thanks.